although Garrett was operating most of the time, do you like to operate yourself?
Yeah, good question. I'm always torn on the question of operating because I like the hands-on component of operating. I enjoy the reactiveness of it, especially in handheld. Sometimes what's really nice about it, and I think this is why Gareth wanted to operate mostly on the Creator, is because there's a lot of cinematography that's intuitive, that is reacting to stuff that's happening in front of you, that's reacting to what the actors are doing and reacting to the environment, reacting to shapes in the space or the architecture or to a performance or whatever it is. And I like being a part of that reaction, and as a cinematographer, I have instinctual reactions to those things. And when I'm not operating, I do sometimes feel like I'm missing that reaction, like I'm watching the operator making those choices and doing those reactions, and I feel like, oh, I would have reacted differently, or I would have done something else, or whatever. Now, when you have a good operator, they're making the same choices you would, and then or better ones, and then you go, oh, that was a great choice, or that was a great reaction. So, but I'm skipping ahead. The other thing that I really like about operating that I think is really important is being close to the actors, and I think that part of it's really crucial. And I do like being the first person they see after a take, because the actors are in a very vulnerable place after a take, and unless you have one of the directors who like to stand next to the camera, which is very rare these days, but I appreciate it when they do that.
Yeah.
Mostly directors like to sit by the monitor, which is fine, and I always like to have the monitor as close as possible, but it's not, it's very hard and rare to have somebody standing right there. So it's cool to be right by the camera, right by the eyepiece, and to have that connection with the actors, and also to build that trust, because sometimes actors can be a little sensitive about the lighting and all that, and being able to build that trust with them can be very crucial and important. So being the first person they see and having that vulnerability and that connection can be really important to building that trust.
Yeah.
Here's the flip side of that. When I'm operating, I don't feel like I'm the DP. Like during the operating time, I feel like I'm operating. Because operating is a full-time gig. Like I am focusing entirely on operating the camera. I'm focusing on the edges of frame. I'm focusing on the composition. I'm focusing on, my center. I'm focusing on my camera movements to make sure that if I'm moving the camera, it's timed with a character movement. And if they stop, I stop. Like I'm doing all the operating stuff because I want the operating to feel deliberate and precise and not sloppy. And the operating and the precision of it's important to me. So I'm just fully concentrating on it. And when I'm concentrating on the operating, I'm not looking at the lighting. I'm not looking at the performance. I'm not looking at any of the stuff that I feel like I should be looking at as a DP. And so on films, when I operate, sometimes we cut and then somebody will ask me something like, oh, did you notice this and this or so-and-so? And then I'll go, no, I wasn't paying attention to that. I didn't notice that at all because I wasn't looking at that. I was looking at the corner of the frame. I was looking at this because I'm trying to land the pan in a way to hit this specific end composition, right?
I wonder how does it work with Garrett when he is operating, but also he has to direct and see all the emotions and stuff,
I have no idea how he does it, but I also, honestly, I actually have no idea. I think for him, somehow he manages to compartmentalize the two of them. I think also he cares less about the precision of the operating, and some of the operating is a little sloppy, and he's okay with it. And also because it's kind of documentary style, he just lets it be sloppy. Also, the Ninja recorder, the image on it looked really bad, so he couldn't really see very well. Like he could kind of just see shapes and outlines, but he couldn't see a really high fidelity image the way that I could on the monitor, which actually was maybe good. It was almost like he was looking through like a shitty viewfinder, and I was seeing like a good image. So he was trusting me to really look at the image and the composition and the framing and the lighting, and he was kind of just like pointing the camera at whatever was happening and hoping that it looked good. So it actually, I think, let him focus on the performance more. But it meant that after a take, he would have to ask me, like, was it framed good? Like, was it good? And I would have to say if it was or wasn't. But mostly it was. But anyway, but yeah, so that's the thing is I find that when I'm not operating, the cinematography is better because I can focus all of the time, both while setting up the shot and while shooting takes. I'm sitting there with the director, watching every take, watching everything in the take, watching the performances, looking at the lighting, looking at everything else, looking at the props. I'm looking at
reading the room. What do they feel about the shot, the director, and everything?
Everything, and I feel like it makes everything better, the whole movie. So I prefer not to operate, but I need to have really good operators in order to do that. People that I can really lean on and trust to make it better. And really good operators do that and take that empowerment and run with it and make the shots better. And that is, I think, the best case scenario.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
One day I want to ask Steven Soderbergh, how does he do what he does, directing, cinematography, operating, all this together. It's
dying to ask him.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Yeah. Like, I don't know how he does everything.
Yeah.
I really don't get it.
In one of the podcasts I've heard that he just can't help him, that he needs to be behind the camera, like.
Yeah. I understand why he does it.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how he does it, Like, how does he manage to compartmentalize it on set and then confidently know that he is getting what he wants, Unless he just really has a lot of trust in everybody else, in his performers, in his gaffer, in his other collaborators, right? That's the only way to do it.